What's happening, Reds? Welcome back to the channel. We've got some important news to talk about today. There's a lot of goings on at Anfield at the moment, and yeah, I just wanted to talk about our forward options for next season and basically how we can improve them. So as we know, it looks like Sadio Mane is going to leave unless there's a drastic U-turn. It seems like he is adamant that he wants to leave this summer. I don't see the benefit of keeping hold of a player that doesn't want to be at the club. So let's just go on off the assumption that he is leaving. Also, we know that Divock Origi's leaving. Salah's contract is still up in the air. There's a lot of rumours floating about obviously his future, and also Firmino. It could be we're not going to lose to the old guard, the three strikers that have obviously led Liverpool's line over the last 4 or 5 seasons, and obviously delivered trophies. So there could be a massive change at Liverpool, and I wanted to talk about obviously the potential of signing a number 9. I understand, even if Mane goes, obviously Diaz came in, so that's kind of a like replacement for obviously the left wing. But I think it's quite obvious Liverpool need a proper out-and-out number 9, and Firmino's not getting any younger. He's never really been classed as a total number 9. He's more of a deep line, he's more of a number 10 really, a deep line playmaker. Obviously leaving it for Salah and Mane to bomb on, but I want to talk about the possibilities of signing a proper number 9 who's going to lead the line, and I've got 5 potential signings that Liverpool could do this summer. All of them I think would be great, but obviously I've got my favourites, so we're going to talk about them today. Anyway, if you do like today's video and you do like obviously this Liverpool content, hit the like button for me. It will help this channel, this video get out there, and also hit the subscribe button for more LFC related content. With that being said, let's get into it, Reds. So yeah, as I was saying, I've come up with a list of 5 strikers that Liverpool could potentially sign. Obviously not all of them, and in all fairness, all 5 of them could have gone in any order here. I would be happy with any of these strikers, but what I've kind of done is I've kind of gone in, thought about it from a business point of view, value for money, return, etc., wages, all that fun stuff. So I've kind of obviously put them in a little order. But if any of them was to sign for Liverpool, I'm sure they would be great. Now, first, we'll get it out the way because it's the least likely of it happening, is Robert Lewandowski. As we know, he is informed by him that he wants to leave. The only problem is, it's looking like he's going to be joining Barcelona, hence why he's number 5 on my list, but nothing is set in stone. But yeah, Robert Lewandowski wants a new challenge. In all fairness, if he really wants to challenge the Premier League, is obviously where he wants to go. But La Liga, obviously, the fact that he'd be living in Spain, football won't be so intense week in, week out the way it is in the Premier League. Obviously, because he's 33 now, even though he's an absolute machine when it comes to obviously his fitness, he's always kept himself in the tip-top shape. And I would like to see him in the Premier League, and being honest. But obviously there are a lot of questions whether he could do it in the Premier League, with him only obviously playing in the Bundesliga for all of his career. But yeah, Robert Lewandowski, let's look at it. This season he's played 34 matches in the Bundesliga and scored 35 goals. Champions League he's played 10 and scored 13. And in his domestic cups he's scored more goals than games he's played. So given the service, Lewandowski is going to get 20 goals minimum, even in the Premier League, even at the age of 33. He would be a sure buy. But the only reason, as I say, he's number 5 on the list is because 1, it looks like he wants to go to Barca. 2, I think his wage demands for a 33-year-old may be too much. Bayern may also ask for a little bit too much from him. Yes, he's only got a year on his contract, but he still will, the fee will be quite dramatic. But there is a bit of a silver lining. If Mane is wanting to move to Bayern, there could be a deal there struck there between the two clubs, whether it's obviously them giving us a bit more money, because obviously Mane's younger, let's just face it. But yeah, I do think a massive stumbling block is the fact that he wants to probably go to Spain, and his wages, he'll probably want a big bumper contract. And if we're not going to give Salah the contract that he's asking for, I can't really see us doing it with somebody like Lewandowski. But anyway, Robert Lewandowski is my number 5. Now, number 4 on my list, I've gone with Tottenham Hotspur striker Harry Kane. I know it's crazy. I had never thought in a million years that I would be saying these words. But as we know, Harry Kane is after a new challenge. And to be honest, there's not many clubs that would be interested in him, if I'm being honest now. Because obviously you've got Man City have signed Haaland. He wouldn't go to Manchester United without Champions League football, even though they probably would be able to afford him. Chelsea, they've got Lukaku. They've got their own issues there. And, when you look abroad, Bayern Munich potentially if Lewandowski goes, but if he wants to be playing, Premier League football still, Liverpool could be in with a shout for him. And, it would be a great return in goals for us. This season he's played 37 matches, scored 17 goals for Spurs. In all competitions he's hit over 25 goals this season, and he is a great striker. And I think in a Liverpool team he would flourish. It may be a bit of a competition between him and Salah on who is the main man. That could cause a bit of friction, if I'm being honest. But for what Harry Kane can bring you, I'm sure Jurgen Klopp would find a way to fit him in, because he does like dropping deep, he does like helping out as well as like scoring. But I must admit, the only reason he probably beats Lewandowski is because he's a little bit faster. He obviously, knows the Premier League inside out. But, for the same reason as I mentioned for Lewandowski, he's going to come with a premium. The cost's going to be near 100 million, if not more. And then obviously his wages, he's going to want at least £400,000 a week, because obviously his next contract is his big contract. And I just can't see Liverpool, although, you're guaranteed goals with Harry Kane, I can't see Liverpool going to that extent of £400,000 for him. But yeah, Harry Kane is my number 4. Now I know I said Lewandowski, Harry Kane, and obviously the other 3 I've got in this list could all be number 1, because they could, and obviously I've gone with age, money, value, etc, etc. But the top 3 are all young, all showing amazing potential, and all under Klopp would actually thrive. And I think that'd be kind of like the difference in them being just good strikers and becoming one of the world's best. Anyway, number 3 for me anyway is Victor Osimhen. He's the Nigerian striker from Napoli. His goal scoring isn't like amazing, but he is only 23 years old. He's played in 27 games in Serie A this season, and he scored 14 goals. So it's not a bad return. Not saying it is, but obviously, when you think about some of the numbers that obviously Lewandowski and Harry Kane put out, he's not quite there. But he's 23 years old, as I've already mentioned. I don't think he's going to cost as much as obviously Harry Kane would, and obviously Lewandowski would. He's also, to be fair, he's also got 4 goals in the Europa League this season. 2 of them were notably against Leicester. Great finishes, and he's that perfect age where he's obviously got a lot of games under his belt, but he's still young enough to obviously, his ceiling is a lot higher, and under the right management, i.e. Klopp and obviously the Liverpool backroom staff, he could become a serious, one of the world's best number 9s. He's got a little, he shows little glimpses of what Thierry Henry did for me with his big strides, his confident approach to the game. And I think under Klopp, he could flourish. I don't know how much he would cost. If we have a quick look at his contract, according to transfermarket.co.uk, his current contract runs out in June 2025, so he's obviously got a 3-year contract still there. But that doesn't mean they wouldn't be able to sign him. It may mean we have to, fork out at least 50-60 million for him. But obviously, if being 23 years old playing under Klopp, that'll be a quick return. Obviously we know the price of players, especially good young players, has gone up over obviously the last couple of years. But yeah, Victor Osimhen is my number 3. Now number 2 is just someone that I think would be perfect in a Klopp system, and that is Christopher Nkunku from RB Leipzig. French international. He's only 24 years old, so he's that right age, the same age roughly as Diaz. He's got Champions League experience as well, and of course we've got connections with RB Leipzig, obviously because we've signed Konate from there. We've got quite a few players that have been under the RB bracket, Mane, Keita, and obviously Konate. So it could be a potential club for him to consider. I do know obviously the Chelsea are interested in him as well, but if you look at the team and look how we play, Nkunku is the perfect replacement for Firmino, whether he plays under him or with him for a year to learn the role. But yeah, Nkunku has obviously scored quite a few goals this season. Just looking here, he's played 34 matches in the Bundesliga. He scored 20 goals. He's also scored 7 goals in 6 games in the Champions League. And then obviously, when RB Leipzig didn't qualify, he went to the Europa League and scored another 4 goals. So he's prolific in front of goal. He's, as I say, 24 years old, French international, perfect for Liverpool. But he is going to come with obviously quite a big price tag. He has only got 2 years left on the contract, but obviously if there's other teams that are interested in him, he could potentially go for 70 million plus. But also you're going to guarantee, over the next 7 to 8 years, you've got an absolute, stellar number 9 on your card. And yet, if you'd ask quite a lot of Liverpool fans, a lot of people have asked for Nkunku. So yeah, he makes my number 2. Now, my number 1 tops this list for a reason, I must admit. Even though I'd be happy with any of these people in this list, value for money, age, obviously experience, and the way he plays, I just think is an absolute bargain if we were to obviously land his services. And to be honest, I'd like him and Nkunku, but my number 1 is Darwin Nunes from Benfica. We have had first-hand experience of how good he is this season in the Champions League. Liverpool played against him. He scored a few goals against us as well and had a few disallowed that maybe should have stood. But yeah, looking at his record here, this season he's played 28 games in Portugal and scored 26 goals. In the Champions League, he's played 10 games and scored 6. And as I say, a few of them were against Liverpool. And, just looking at his other stats here, he's always scoring goals no matter what. And I just think he's that perfect balance of like a Cavani, a Falcao kind of striker, but he's got a lot of pace. And he does play out wide sometimes. He drifts out, so it would benefit Liverpool. But I just feel like if Liverpool were able to beat the likes of United to obviously his signing, I think he'd be absolutely perfect for us. I'm assuming he'd rather play for Liverpool than Man United. So if Liverpool are in for him, I think it'd be an absolute steal. But let's have a look at his current contract as well. So his contract is set to expire in 2 years as well. So, it's not a great contract, but he is going to come with a hefty price tag now that people are interested in him. You are, again, looking at around the 60, 70, potentially 80 million. But 50 million plus is quite a standard price tag now for really good players, especially, players who have played Champions League football. But one thing he does have, he's only 22 years old, so he was a couple of years younger than some of the people in these lists, a lot younger than Lewandowski and Kane. But yeah, he's 22, and I just feel like under Klopp, he could become one of the world's best number 9s. He could be putting figures up there like Lewandowski, like your Harry Kanes, and he can play left side as well, so that is something that Klopp would be really interested in. He likes obviously that versatility, a bit like the way Jota does. But yeah, Darwin Nunes is my number 1, and if out of any of these 5, as I say, I would be happy with them all. But if we sign down at Darwin Nunes, that's it. I think it's game over. I think over the next 3 or 4 seasons, he becomes, a 15 plus, 20 plus, 30 plus. What we've expected from Salah, Mane, Bobby Firmino. I think he fills Bobby Firmino's boots, when he eventually does leave. And yeah, Darwin Nunes is my number 1. Anyway, if you did like today's video and there's any other, strikers in world football that you would like to see, let me know in the comments down below. There were a few that just missed out, but I just feel, value for money, Nunes, Nkunku and Osimhen especially would suit our profile as well. Young potential sell-on value if they didn't, settle, for instance, but also that potential striker that could become the next best thing. Anyway, let me know down in the comments if you did enjoy the video. Let me know of any players, as I say, that you think have missed off it. And if you haven't already, hit the like button for me to help this video get out there. Subscribe for more LFC related content. And yeah, that's the video.